Hey there gamers, welcome back to the channel. Things are really heating up in this FTC versus Microsoft case, and when we closed out the week going into the weekend, day 2 of the FTC versus Microsoft case, there has been a lot of details that I want to discuss and talk about because I feel like Sony just got 100% exposed in this FTC Microsoft case, and I want to kind of talk about that. Now, just to kind of let everybody know that I don't get into the whole console war thing. I personally like all consoles. I own each and every individual console, and I like different games for those consoles. That's one reason why I own all the consoles, because different systems have different games, and I am a gamer. I've been playing video games since the mid-80s, and I just like all sorts of games. So this isn't a console war mentality. I'm not a young kid. Anyone who I feel gets into the whole console war thing, I feel like you're just immature and you haven't really lived life long enough, and you shouldn't dedicate yourself to one specific corporation that really, at the end of the day, doesn't give a crap about us. We are just a number. We are the consumer. But speaking of being a consumer, let's talk about some of the anti-consumer things that Sony has been exposed for doing here in this case. So this comes from The Verge, and they kind of go over a lot of the different things that happened during this case. And one of the biggest things that happened in this case was the fact that it looked like Sony was going to buy exclusive rights to Starfield from Bethesda, and that really caused Phil Spencer and the Microsoft team to just look at it and be like, we can't allow Sony to buy exclusivity to this massive game. They already did it with Deathloop. They did it with Ghostwire Tokyo. Starfield is going to be the next big thing. It's going to be the next Skyrim, the next Fallout, and they could not allow Sony to buy yet again another game exclusivity to keep it off their Xbox console. Microsoft could not allow that to happen. They did it with games all the time. We see they did it with Final Fantasy 16, a game that I'm absolutely love playing right now on my PlayStation, but Microsoft wasn't able to get this game on their Xbox Series platform because Sony did what Sony always does, and they go in and they buy exclusive deals. They don't come right out and buy companies, but they go in and they buy exclusive deals to make it look like these games are only on their platform, and they take games like Final Fantasy 16, which should be a multi-platform game, and they bought the exclusive rights to keep it locked on their console. And to me, that is the most anti-consumer thing you can do, is when you go out and you buy these games that are supposed to be multi-platform and you make them exclusive to your console. That is anti-consumer. That is everything that the FTC is accusing Microsoft of going to be doing if this Activision deal goes through. And Phil Spencer's like, we're not doing that. In fact, the competition is doing that, and you are fighting for the competition. The FTC has come across very, very hypocritical throughout this entire case. You go back and you look, the judge is cutting them off. At one point, the judge asked Phil Spencer, like, will you keep Call of Duty multi-platform? Do you swear under oath? Phil Spencer said, I swear under oath that I will continue to ship out Call of Duty to PlayStation as long as PlayStation allows us to do so. And then the FTC fires back and like, do you swear? Will you do it for free? And the judge is like, why would they do it for free? Why would they ship Call of Duty to PlayStation for free? Then the FTC once again fired back and said, will you release it to their streaming service, their cloud streaming service? And the judge is like, stop. We do not need to know that information. That is not important to this case. And things just kind of get out of hand. And the FTC looks like they're completely unprepared. They're trying to spitball this entire situation, and they're coming off unprepared and hypocritical. There was a point in this case where Phil Spencer even brings up how Sony buys exclusivity. That's how we found out that Starfield was going to be a PS5 exclusive. And Phil Spencer said, in order to compete, we needed to buy Bethesda. We could not allow any more of these big third-party games to miss our console because Sony is buying the rights to it. And he even brings up Final Fantasy 16 at the time, saying it was just released and we did not get that. And the judge said, is Final Fantasy a big franchise? And he said it is one of the biggest franchises in gaming. And we see how Sony just went in and absolutely just bought the rights to Final Fantasy 16 and did not even give Microsoft a chance to even have it on their platform. That is the most anti-consumer thing that you could possibly do. And we see that once again, Sony does it time and time again. The FTC later on brings up the fact that Indiana Jones is a licensed Disney property and is going to be exclusive only to the Microsoft Xbox platform. And Phil Spencer once again had to shut the FTC up and say, well, you know what? Sony's biggest franchise is Spider-Man. And guess what? That is also a Disney licensed property that is exclusive to the PlayStation. So how can the FTC sit there and try to use that as a point going, well, Indiana Jones is going to be exclusive to the Xbox, but it's a licensed property, when you look at Spider-Man is the biggest PlayStation exclusive they have, and it's also a Disney licensed property. So each and every time that the FTC tried to come in, tried to make some kind of point, it just backfired in their face. They look like they're completely unprepared, and I hate to say this, but it looks like they are siding with Sony. Sony is the market leader. Microsoft is third in the market right now behind Sony and Nintendo. And Microsoft looks like they're making the FTC look stupid because the FTC, every point they throw out is completely blocked by either the judge or Phil Spencer completely made the FTC look like they were unable to actually prove a valid point, and they come off looking like they support the market leader, which is everything that the FTC is supposed to stand against. The FTC is supposed to have healthy competition. And healthy competition is important to the consumer because the consumer will have the option to buy what they want when they want. It makes prices lower, quality of games better, but by having Sony lock down these properties, by going to buy exclusives and saying everything the FTC is accusing of Microsoft to possibly be doing is exactly what Sony is currently doing. And the big nail on the head was when none other than Jim Ryan has come out in an email after the acquisition. He had meetings apparently, and he even said in the email, this was all released in court, that according to the email, Jim Ryan says, I have no doubt that Microsoft will continue to support Call of Duty on the Sony platform. We will be fine. He just wants to block it just because. But he said in the email that they will be more than fine. And that was basically the final nail in the coffin. So Starfield was supposed to be a PlayStation exclusive. Jim Ryan's email, the FTC just fumbling over everything that they had. This was a massive failure on the part of the FTC, which is trying to prove that Microsoft is creating a monopoly, but in turn what it really shows is the hypocrisy of the FTC and how they are siding with the corporate leader, the market leader in Sony, and how it's just all kind of crumbling behind them. A lot of really big news came out this past week, and we're getting ready to enter day 3, and we're probably going to get a lot more details. This thing is really heating up, but I want to know what you guys think. Be sure to leave your comments in the comment box below. Smash that like and subscribe button, and until next time, as always, I am Robert Storms, and thank you for watching.